Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Devils in God's Country. I'm one of your hosts, Casper Rigsby. This is my lovely, talented, intelligent co host, Miss Allie Jackson. Say hi, Miss Allie.
Hi.
Tonight we're going to be talking about the fucking Trump, the Oompa Loompa running for president, the first potential orange president in the history of the United States. Um, and more specifically, we're going to be talking about some of the crazy ass shit that keeps going on at his rallies, and most importantly, the rally that got shut down in Chicago. There's been a weird sort of backlash, and I guess the regressive left have gotten their fucking claws into this one, and they're like, oh, these are Bernie supporters and they're against free speech and all this crazy shit. So it's been a weird fucking ride, dealing with that particular rally that got shut down. So I'm going to let Miss Allie kick it off because this was her topic that she wanted to talk about. And of course, I was definitely game for it. But I think she has some stuff she'd like to start off with, and we can build from that.
Yeah, so this whole entire topic is really bothering me a lot because, especially when I first saw that he was shut down in Chicago, I was incredibly happy. I was happy that, one, people got off their couches, off their social media, rallied together in support of something that they didn't approve of, and they pushed forward in order to accomplish a goal, which was to let the world know here in Chicago, we don't stand for racist bullshit. So I was outrageously proud. I was outrageously proud. I was outrageously happy. I thought these people did a great job. And then all of a sudden I start seeing people saying, oh, well, First Amendment, people have the right to speech. People have the right to speech. And then Trump has the right to go there and say anything he wants to say. This is America, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, the great retort, your First Amendment right protects you from the government shutting down your speech. Okay, it does not protect you from individuals, other citizens shutting down your speech. Now, the important thing to realize is those, I guess, Bernie or whatever supporters you want to call them, I don't know if they were all Bernie supporters or not, they were also out there doing their free speech. And I don't see any difference between these people coming together saying, we don't want racist bullshit here in my city, any different from when there was a city in California that band together and said, we don't want Walmart in our city. And they rallied around and they signed petitions and they did everything they could to make sure Walmart stayed out of their city. Because Walmart shuts down small businesses. It hurts their community. And they did research and saw things they didn't like. And they got together and successfully stopped Walmart from building a Walmart in their community. And of course, people cheered that. Right? That's a great accomplishment. So why aren't we cheering and why aren't we excited and why aren't we happy for people using their free speech to come forward and saying, I don't want racist, nasty bullshit going on in my city, and we don't want this man here. We don't want him to feel welcome here. I don't know if it was the goal of the protesters to stop Trump from saying anything at all. It might have been. I don't know. I wasn't there. It might have been some of their goals, not all of their goals. But I definitely think that the purpose of people being there was to say, we don't want what he has to offer. And I don't see anything wrong with this. And I'm really trying hard, grasping at straws here, trying to understand my friends who are just like, Trump deserved to speak. Trump deserved to speak. Okay, and he had his shots. No one stopped him legally from going there and giving his speech. He's the one that set up or his people set up the entire rally in the first place. He had his rally set there. It wasn't like the government or senator or anything said, no, you can't come here and speak. The people said, we don't want the racist bullshit here. That's all they did. That's all they did. And then it was Trump and the police who decided that it wouldn't be safe for him to speak. But nobody actually shut him down doing anything illegal. And I am baffled at why we're trying to turn this into a negative thing.
Yeah. So first of all, like you mentioned, the First Amendment protects individuals from the government stopping them from having the freedom of speech. So if the federal government had come in and said, you know what, Donald Trump, you are not allowed to fucking speak, that would have most definitely been a violation of his First Amendment rights. Um, so that's a very important thing, and I want to go ahead and share my screen real quick. Um, Let me share this. Okay, so this meme is floating around, and this is an exchange on Twitter between Donald Trump and then one of his supporters that came on there, and then you can read through all this. I'll read it real quick. It's Trump said the organized group of people, many of them thugs who shut down our First Amendment rights in Chicago, have totally energized America. Well, first of all, bullshit. Whatever. You're fucking an idiot, Donald Trump. Then this man, Andrew Seidel, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, he tweeted back. He said, the First Amendment protects citizens from the government, not from unfriendly audiences, which is awesome. That's an awesome fucking response. So one of Trump's supporters comes on here and says, you're a lawyer? I don't think so. And Andrew comes back with constitutional attorney specializing in First Amendment law. You? Wonderful. Wonderful for him to actually post that and just make it clear of what the reality of the situation is, and what the First Amendment actually means from someone who actually specializes in studying constitutional law. So if anybody's going to have any sort of authoritative statement, it's going to be someone who actually has studied constitutional law versus, you or I or anyone else, especially a Trump supporter who fucking hasn't read the Constitution. I'm almost 100% certain I can make the accusation that none of the Trump supporters out there have actually read the Constitution or know what the fucking Constitution says or what it's about or even what the Constitution is built upon. Um, the other thing to really discuss there is the First Amendment protects your right to speech. Okay, so the First Amendment says you can peaceably organize and say damn near anything that you want to fucking say unless it incites imminent harm in the immediate vicinity at the fucking time, or if you're calling for harm against other people. Like, those are the only restrictions on the First Amendment. If you are literally standing in the street saying, go murder these fucking people, and people go murder them, you have stepped beyond the bounds of the First Amendment. If you haven't done that, then you're within the bounds. But the First Amendment also does not have any sort of clause in it that says you are not under any obligation to deal with the consequences of your speech. So when you say shit, it has consequences. You can say whatever you want. That doesn't mean there are no consequences to you fucking saying that shit. When you say it, then other people are welcome to go, hold up, motherfucker. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, what's going through your batshit fucking crazy mind that you think you can just come out here and say that shit and nobody's gonna fucking call you on it? So, you have to deal with the consequences of your actions and your words and your statements. It's the same way with us at Atheist Republic. We don't ever try to silence people. Now, we will fucking ban people for harassing members, for harassing people in our group and people within our organization, but we don't silence people from speaking. You can speak. Don't incite violence. Don't use derogatory terms. Don't be a fucking racist. Like, but if you want to make your point without, crossing that line, feel free to make your fucking point. Um, and there is a line though, and everybody on our page and on our website is free to criticize what the fuck you say because you just said that in an open forum, and now the whole world is free to go, hey, you're an idiot. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, everybody's free to fucking do that, and you can't be like, oh, you're trying to silence me. No, they're trying to make the point that you're a fucking idiot. That's what's happening. So the other thing that really bothers me about this, okay, Trump has kicked out peaceful protesters from every single one of his rallies since his campaign began. Okay, that every single rally he has kicked out peaceful protesters. So Trump has effectively, if we wanted to interpret the First Amendment that way, has effectively silenced the voice of every single dissenter against what he has to say. So who's really against free speech here? Is it the people that said, you know what, we don't want your racist bullshit here, or is it the people who have been kicked out repeatedly from Trump functions just for wearing a shirt that says "Dump the Trump"? Or just for carrying a sign that says, I don't support Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the next Hitler or something. As bold a statement as that is, who's trying to silence who here? And it comes down to, when you actually look at the numbers, yes, Trump is the one trying to silence people, and Trump supporters are supporting that. There's numerous supporters that have been fucking on the record as saying, well, when Donald becomes president, he's just going to get rid of all you people. Now, what they mean by get rid of, I don't know. Maybe they mean he's going to fucking throw us all in a camp somewhere and fucking murder us. Or maybe they mean, oh, he's just going to throw you out of the fucking country. Myself personally, if Donald Trump becomes president, you won't have to throw me out of the country. I will leave of my own volition, happily and gladly, because this country has gone to shit and I don't want to be a fucking part of it. I will be gone. You ain't going to throw me nowhere. I will get the fuck out. I will be like the Jews in Germany who saw the fucking the light at the end of the tunnel and said, holy shit, this is going south. I'm getting the fuck out. And there were plenty of them who was like, no, we need to get the fuck out of here now. Shit's going bad. So you're not going to have to throw me out. And if you're going to fucking kill me, then that speaks volumes about who Trump is, about who you believe Trump is, and about what you actually support. Yeah, I'll turn it back over to you. I'll get wrapped up.
Yeah, and it's an easy topic for sure to get wrapped up in. How can we not? I mean, this is a man who, during his entire speeches, if you've ever watched an entire speech of his, focuses multiple times in repeating himself over the same bullshit time and time and time again. Okay? Number one point being, he wants to build this fucking wall between us and Mexico. Not even understanding the fact that illegal immigrants have built this country. Illegal immigrants are keeping this country alive, in all honesty. Okay? That you like to go to the store, you like to spend $4 or $5 for a bag of apples. All right, let's have American workers picking all of that fruit. In the farming industry, there's 26% of people, and Casper wants to say something.
Yeah. Oh, I just wanted to mention, like, there's already a fucking wall. There's already a wall between most of us and Mexico. And what many of the fucking drug dealers in Mexico have done, instead of fucking trying to climb over the wall or fucking build boats or anything, they just dug under the fucking wall. If you think a wall is the fucking solution, you're an idiot. Like, you have no idea of what's going on currently. So how are you going to deal with future fucking issues? Go ahead. I'm sorry. That drives me crazy.
That's a great starting point there too. But in all honesty, let's look at what immigrants do for this country. Okay, if we were to kick out all of our immigrants right now, we would not be standing strong. We would absolutely collapse, because they spend billions of dollars. They pay their taxes. Okay, I know some Americans that do not pay their taxes, but
Donald Trump.
Thank you. Illegal immigrants do pay their taxes. And can they sit around all day and get that money back on welfare? No, they cannot, because they do not have a social security number. They do not have access to it. Now, here is the part of the story with a lot of Republicans get off on, and the religious extremists that tend to flock to the right side. They say that, a baby born in America, the anchors, as they like to call them, I think that's absolutely ridiculous, but the anchor babies that allow the immigrants to come here and stay, they get government assistance for those babies. And yes, they most certainly do. However, if you look at the amount of money that is paid to a child born here in the States over its lifetime versus how much money it's going to pay in taxes over its lifetime to be here, we come out on top. America comes out on top. So not only are we taking care of a child that deserves to fucking be taken care of, okay, no matter what fucking country it's from, if it's in this country, it deserves food, it deserves housing, it deserves whatever the fuck we can offer it, okay, because we're human beings and we shouldn't let any nationality dissolve that first, okay? But they'll end up paying back times 3 in their lifetime, if they're in a lifetime of assistance. So everyone who wants to say that, shut the fuck up. Do your research, actually look at the numbers, and stop going to all this propaganda stuff that tells you that welfare workers are lazy and sit on their ass and do nothing, because that is not true by any sense of any word. It's all out there for you. You can find the numbers and statistics on all of this stuff. So if we look at what immigrants actually do for this country, the percentage of them that actually work in our farming industry, which Americans, I'm sorry, have not been able to do on their own. If we look at everywhere they are, yes, they are in our fast food industries. They are in some of these lesser, or what people consider lesser jobs. They're there and they're working their asses off, and they fucking deserve to be there, and they fucking deserve to get paid, and they deserve to feed their children, and they deserve all this stuff. So building a wall to keep these people, these great people, out of our country is ridiculous to me. And when you want to say, well, let them come over here legally, that is, again, an outrageously frustrating thing, because it takes so much money on our part to pay people to do that. If we asked every single illegal immigrant in this country to go away and come back in here legally, we are going to fall. We are absolutely going to fall. It costs too much money to do that. So everyone who can't look at this realistically and kind of have some sort of slack for illegal immigrants in this country, I feel really sorry for you. If you can't have any sort of compassion or any sort of empathy for these people, these fucking human beings, regardless of what nationality they are, regardless of what border they crossed over to get here, they're human beings, they deserve rights. And if you don't have empathy for them, and if you're supporting this wall that he wants Mexico to pay for, and again, if you watch any of his speeches, this is what he's saying: Mexico is going to pay for this wall. I feel sorry for you, and I'm ashamed that I share a border with you. That's just, it's bullshit. So you don't do your own research, you don't know your own country, you don't know how your own country runs, and you're screaming, let's build a wall, let's build a wall. If people want to be here, they're going to get here. All right, they're going to get here, and it's stupid to try to keep them out. So that's my stance on that. So, but back to Trump and his speeches. So he repeats shit over and over that he knows people are just going, yeah, let's do this, let's do that, let's build the wall, let's bomb ISIS. ISIS is not America's problem. All right, and I'm going to be bold enough to fucking say that. Sorry, but ISIS is not America's problem. Who needs to deal with ISIS are people overseas. All right, they need to deal with ISIS. Saudi Arabia, who spends millions upon millions of dollars that they get from us for oil, okay, they can form their own army to beat ISIS. But this bombing ISIS bullshit, where are you going to bomb them? Where's ISIS? Where are you going to bomb ISIS? And I understand they do have a camp there in Syria, but do you understand there are a ton of innocent people there? There are a ton of innocent people there. You just want to go bombing? And I get outraged when I see these people, yeah, let's bomb ISIS, let's bomb ISIS. They don't know who ISIS is. They don't know where ISIS is. They don't know who lives on ISIS compounds. I was watching this video of these two women who had an undercover camera on themselves in an ISIS camp. Do you know they black out the faces on bottles of hair care and on hair dye? They block out the faces. So you can't see a woman's face at all. It's completely markered out. It's fucking insane, okay? And these poor people are forced to be there. They're forced to be there. And to say that you're just going to take a bomb and just bomb ISIS, you're going to take my children, and instead of sending my children to college, you want to send my children to war. Fuck you. And you want to start this war that's not even fucking ours? Fuck you. And he just repeats all this bullshit. That's all any of his speeches ever are. It's just the same regurgitated shit followed by, oh, what's your name? Oh, where you from? Oh, I love this place. Shut up for a second. Let me tell you how much I love this. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up and say something fucking useful. I don't care what you love. I don't care that you love death, destroying, and you hate things. You love to hate things. Shut up. Shut up and actually say something useful. And these people in Chicago, we're fucking sick of it. If you've heard one Trump speech, you've heard them all. He loves shit. It literally shit. Who fucking cares what he loves? That's not what we're here for. It's not what we're voting for. And he wants to build a wall, and he wants to bomb ISIS. It's the same repeated shit. Oh, and let's not forget that he wants to brand Muslims. Let's do the Hitler thing, and let's start another Holocaust, and let's start branding Muslims. What the fuck is that? I can't even. Casper, you're gonna have to take over.
No, I love that you brought up anchor babies, because anytime I get to stick a metaphorical dick in Ted Cruz's ass, I love to. And if we want to talk about anchor babies, let's talk about Ted Cruz's fucking anchor baby ass. Because his dad married a fucking U.S. citizen just so he could get into this fucking country and have him a little anchor baby that would get him fucking citizenship in this nation. So, you know, if we want to talk about anchor babies, we can talk about Ted fucking Cruz all day long. And it's really fucked up for me that there are some things that Donald Trump says, and I'm like, oh, I'm glad you brought that up. I wish it wasn't you. I wish somebody else had brought it up, because I don't want to agree with anything you've ever fucking said in your entire life. But like when he fucking calls out Ted Cruz and was like, is this dude even fucking, you know, legally able to run as president? Like, yeah, he's legally able, but let's not forget that he is a fucking anchor baby. He's the way that many people, immigrants especially, gain entrance into this country, by marrying nationalized citizens and then going, oh well, I'm here now and we have a kid, so I'm in the fucking door. Like, that happens all the fucking time. And you know, there are plenty of natural born American citizens who have married illegal immigrants. No, what are you going to do about that, Trump? What are you going to do about the natural born American citizens who have married illegal immigrants and had children? You're going to call their children anchor babies. Okay, whatever you want to fucking label them as is fine. That's fucking fine. Label the shit out of people. That's one of the most divisive things you can do as a human being, is put labels on other people that they don't want on themselves. But you know, what are you going to do with all those people? Because like, that happens legally every fucking day, and just because they didn't go through the normal channels, are we going to say, well, you know, your marriage is fucking invalid? And of course Trump wants to fucking invalidate their marriage. Yeah, he's jumped on the fucking Christian bandwagon of fucking anti-gay marriage and shit, you know, anti-marriage equality. Let me not say gay marriage, because gay marriage is this sort of weird thing. It's like you look at that Key and Peele episode when Peele's character is trying to explain a gay wedding, and he's like, it's just like a regular wedding. I mean, it's the same thing. And the people were like, so when do we, you know, join in this gay orgy, and like when does YMCA start playing and stuff? And it's like, come on, man, it's a regular fucking marriage. We just want the federal government to acknowledge it the same way that they acknowledge every other fucking marriage. It's about actual fucking equality. Like, my marriage to a female woman as a man, as a cisgendered male, should not fucking be any different than two dudes who have gone through the same process, or two women who have gone through the same process, or a transgendered person who has gone through the process with another individual. Like, none of those things are any different than what I've done. It's the same fucking thing. We're just wanting you to acknowledge that it's the same fucking thing, and they deserve the same fucking rights and equality. Of course, people like Trump have jumped on the bandwagon of fucking, you know, saying that I'm against that. Dude, so I think one of the ways that people are going to listen to this and are going to be like, oh well, what does this have to do with religion, and what does this have to do with atheism? And I think the point we can always draw back on is Trump has tried to pose himself as an evangelical Christian, even though we can look back through his past because thank you, social media, and all those atheists that helped to work to build this thing that we're on right now. Like all those atheists that fucking put in the work and like, hey, we should be able to communicate with each other because then information would be shared and we could all learn more. And like atheists like really work towards that. And like, hey, maybe if we get more people, knowledgeable, shit will get better. It hasn't. It hasn't really gotten better. I mean, it has with the younger generation. I'm glad people are getting involved and actually gaining knowledge. I wish more people would actually get involved physically, go to the fucking polls, go to the fucking, go vote, go actually get out there and do the thing instead of going, well, I'm well informed. And like, well, you're well informed, but you're not doing shit. Like, where were you last Tuesday when it was voting day? Where were you at the fucking primaries when fucking Bernie lost by fucking 20,000 votes because 50% of the Democratic Party didn't show up to fucking vote in the primary? Like, where were you? Yeah, you're informed. What does it matter if you're not actually doing something? But it's crazy that Trump has jumped on that bandwagon. Even after in the past he's actually stated that he told the media he once said, if I ever run for president, somebody needs to shoot me in the head. And there's this deep seated thing in my brain that goes, it's like that Barney Stinson moment where I'm like, challenge accepted. And I'm like, would it be okay to shoot this dude in the fucking head? I mean, he asked us to do that. He literally fucking told us, if I run for president, fucking kill me. And I'm just like, like I have ethics and morals, so I'm not gonna go out there and do that. But at the same time, like, he asked for it. Like, if somebody else does it, like, I'm not gonna fucking shed a tear. I'm be like, well, damn, man, you asked for that shit. You told people to fucking do it. I don't know what the fuck your problem is. Like, nobody should be angry about it. And then he'll be a fucking martyr for this crazy ass movement in the United States. It's like, you know what? I should be able to say whatever fucked up shit I want, whether it's racist or bigoted or fucking however the hell it comes out of my mouth. And like, I should be able to say that. And people shouldn't be like, hey, you're an asshole for saying that. People should be just like, well, you have a right. Well, you do have a right. And I have a right to tell you you're a cunt for even thinking that, much less saying it. What the fuck's wrong with you? Don't say that shit. Oh, I don't know. I lose my mind over it,
Well, and there's also the point to make. People are probably wondering, like, why we care so much about Donald Trump here, especially on Devils in God's Country, where we normally bash religion. But one thing that people do need to understand is his party is outrageously tied to religion. Over the weekend, rumors spread that Joel Osteen endorsed Donald Trump. And as it turns out, that's not entirely true. He did not endorse Donald Trump, but he did say Trump was a good man. So to me, that's endorsement enough. To me, if you're going to step forward and say, well, this person's a good person, he deserves, he deserves your vote, he's a good man, that's endorsement enough to me. But even though he is denying coming out and endorsing Donald Trump, he did tell everybody that he's a good person. So it makes me wonder where people's morals are. And where their mind is and where this process is here, if we're trying to actually say that Donald Trump is a good man from any sort of Christian standpoint. Because if you're a preacher and you're coming out and you're saying this from a religious point of view. From my religion's doctrines, Donald Trump is a good man. Same thing, like if a doctor comes forward and says, I support this form of surgery. This form of surgery is good. This is good surgery. Dr. Oz, for example, is a great point to bring up here. This diet pill will make you lose weight. This product will help erase your wrinkles and those bags under your eyes. It's coming from a doctor. So if a doctor says it, you're thinking that medically this is sound. This is sound advice. A doctor is telling me it's okay for me to put this in my body or put this on my face. And Dr. Oz was outrageously, he was a liar, he's a con man. Okay, Joel Osteen, in my opinion, is also a con man, and he's a liar. If he's going to stand there and say Donald Trump is a good man, he is a liar. Okay, and coming from a preacher, he is telling his flock that he has judged this person as a good person with all authority. In my opinion, again, coming from a preacher, he's a good man according to God. And if you look at Trump and you look at his actions and you look at what he wants to do, he hates Muslims. And that's a huge thing that pisses me off more than anything, because as an atheist, I get accused of hating Muslims all the time when I do no such thing. I do not hate Muslims. I absolutely hate Islam, but I do not hate Muslims. So that to me just enrages me, that somebody who actually does hate Muslims, takes pride in hating Muslims, gets to be labeled as a good man when indeed he is not a good man. And, you know, building this wall, wanting to kick out immigrants. Something that you said that I also wanted to touch on before I get into a drunken rant and forget, is deporting all these people that are here already. Do you know how much money that's going to cost? How much resources that's going to cost us to gather up all the illegal immigrants and send them back to their country? Do you know how much that's going to cost us? And we're already in mad debt. We can't afford that. So it's fantastic. Everyone has these wet dreams and they're sitting there jacking off the idea that we're going to be getting rid of all these illegal immigrants when Trump becomes president. You're going to bankrupt this country even further than we're already in trouble. And we're going to be fucked. That's what's going to happen, because even just sending these immigrants back to their country is going to cost us an arm and a leg, literally. And I don't know. I'm going to give this back to you, Casper.
You know, it's funny. I would challenge anyone that listens to this show and or views our broadcast, just type in the name Donald Trump in the search bar on Facebook and scroll down and look through all the posts. Don't go to Donald's fucking page. Please don't go to Donald's fucking page. You will fucking hate yourself for ever even going there. But just scroll down and look at what's attached to this man. Pretty much the third or fourth thing I come up with when I search Donald Trump's name on Facebook is an endorsement of Donald Trump. Let me be completely correct on this. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it's the fourth thing that comes up when I search for Donald Trump is Charles Manson endorses Donald Trump. Just give it a minute for that to sink in. How many people out there are like, hey man, Charles Manson, that's an awesome fucking dude. Like, what he thinks is really relevant to my life, and I would like to say that when Charles Manson endorses something, I would be like, fuck yeah, I gotta get that thing. Charles Manson endorses Trump. Just let that sink into your fucking brain. Okay? Charlie is a fucking known sociopath who convinced other people to murder people for him so he didn't have to get his fucking hands dirty. And I would say, yes, Charles Manson of course endorses Trump, because it's the same fucking, like, Charlie probably is looking at Trump going, you know what? I see a lot of me in that guy. Like, that's my dude right there. Like, he can convince people to do stupid shit real fucking easy because people are gullible as fuck. And like, I would say that when Donald said, hey, I could go out and murder somebody on Fifth Avenue and my supporters would still support me, I'd say he could probably make the statement that he could convince the vast majority of his supporters to go out and murder someone on Fifth Avenue for him, and people would still be like, yeah, Donald Trump's fucking awesome. Like, that's a great guy. Like, that's the fucked up shit there. Now, one of the other issues I wanted to touch on, because this is a very broad topic, and when we talk about Trump, there's this huge looming issue over Donald Trump, which is a lot of people want to compare Donald Trump to Hitler. And I get you. I totally get you. A lot of Donald's statements have been very Hitler-esque, if I can turn a phrase there. But there's this one huge difference. And my friend Dan Arrow, who is an incredible author and a great writer, he writes on Patheos and several other news agencies and blogging sites. He made the point on his personal page on Facebook the other day. He said, you know, there's one big difference between Donald Trump and Hitler. And the difference is it's a very important difference. Hitler lost an election to lead Germany. He lost that election. The popular vote, they said, fuck no, we're not voting for this guy. What are you, fucking kidding me? No, we're not putting that guy in office. If Donald Trump becomes president of the United States, it will be because people actually went out and said, no, I want this guy to be in office. And will he do the same sort of things as Hitler? I don't know. You know, he has supposedly to be reined in by Congress, but when you put someone in a seat where they perceive themselves as having absolute power, you don't know how they'll influence others to agree with their power and to acquiesce to it. Hitler was not voted as Chancellor of Germany. He was appointed as Chancellor of Germany because there was enough popularity there for him to be appointed as Chancellor of Germany. And when he went out and said, oh, look at these communists doing horrible things, and suddenly, you know, the congressional building there in Germany, and I'm probably not getting that exactly right, but there was I think maybe the German parliament building was burnt to the fucking ground. Hitler's crew said, oh, look at these communists. Look at what these communists are doing. And then, boom, he was chancellor. And in just a few more years, Germany was at war with the whole world. I mean, it can happen that fucking fast. And no, he didn't get the popular vote. People didn't vote him into office. There were just a lot of people going, I like this guy. And he said the right things at the right time. And then we were in trouble, you know? Is there a correlation potentially possible between Hitler and Trump? I think a lot of Trump's statements suggest that, yes, there is a correlation there. What do you think, Allie?
I think that people should Google this. I think that people should right now stop and Google, did Donald Trump keep speeches of Hitler beside his bed? And you will find that according to his ex-wife, he most certainly did. So Donald Trump is very versed in Hitler's speeches and the way that he spoke and his style. And I think that he targeted Hitler because Hitler was brilliant. I absolutely hate him. I think he's disgusting, horrible excuse for a human being. Please don't get me wrong. But was he brilliant? Absolutely, because he convinced an entire country to do one of the most evil, neurotic things ever. And that takes intelligence, and that takes charisma, and it takes something. And so for this man to keep a book of Hitler's speeches by his bed, I think that that's exactly what he wanted. He wanted that power. He wanted to know exactly what was it in Hitler's speeches that convinced the people, that spoke out to the people. And this man's been studying this. He has been studying the style of what to say to get you to do what he wants. How sick is that? How sad is that? And it's working. That's the thing. People compare him to Hitler, and I do agree with you, Casper, that there definitely could be a difference here. We don't know if he's going to be as evil and maniacal as Hitler was, but I don't think that at the time Hitler even realized how cruel and maniacal he was, nor did the people. As all this stuff was happening, I don't think that people, hindsight is always 20/20. And I really don't think that people looked at this and understood exactly what was going on. It's so easy for us to candy coat and to put excuses over things, so we don't have to see them as they're happening. But that's kind of what's going on with Trump. And I feel like 20 years from now, we're going to be looking at this the same way we looked at the Holocaust. It's not, don't get me wrong, not to that extreme, because that deserves way more bad looking at than this right here. But just as a metaphor here, we're going to have 20/20 hindsight in 20 years from now, and we're going to look back at this and be like, wow, how stupid were we? Because here's a man who incites violence in his speeches, right? He incites violence. And this is something that is against the law. He's broken the law. And currently threatening Bernie Sanders. And it absolutely was a threat in his last speech, where he said, watch out, or I'm sorry, I have the tweet right here. Let me pull up the tweet rather than misquote while I'm not exactly in my right frame of mind. But he most certainly did threaten Bernie Sanders in a tweet where he said, I'm not going to find it, but he told Bernie Sanders to watch out, because at the next rally that he has, his supporters are going to follow him. Now, I think that any sort of supporter of this, any sort of supporter of Trump is going to say, that is what Donald Trump wants me to do. So the next Bernie Sanders rally, I need to go to it, and I need to be as brutal as his protesters were towards us. Now, I don't think that the Bernie Sanders protesters were there to be brutal, but I absolutely do think the Trump protesters will be there to be brutal, because Donald Trump kind of implied they needed to be. Not only that, but if you Google Lions Watch, they have actually set up a militia of people here that are going to accompany Trump. About 500 people have signed up for this so far. They're going to accompany Trump to make sure that he stays safe from everybody. Now, he has CIA, right? He has people that protect him, but there's nothing that protects the Trump supporters. So this Lions Watch wants to go out and be there to physically cause violent ill will towards Bernie's supporters at Trump places, Trump rallies. There you go. And, look at this, and why hasn't Donald Trump said, no, people, this is bad. Don't form militias to go purposefully hurting people at rallies. That's ridiculous. We don't do that. And they've excused themselves because somebody sent a threat to the guy who started the whole Lions Watch with a picture of his son's school saying, if you continue, I'm going after your son. I don't know how much value that actually holds. I don't trust Trump supporters, to be honest with you, especially in this kind of situation. I think that he's just trying to cause some sort of drama around his organization, and it absolutely worked. Right, because I'm talking about it. I read about it, so it's worked. So he shut down his Facebook site, and he's opening up something that's more relevant, like a website or something that people can go to. So he's going to open up this website, and this militia just wants to go out and hurt people, and they believe they have the right to do this because of Trump. Trump hasn't come out and said, this is wrong. You shouldn't do this. This isn't something that I validate. Because he absolutely does validate it. He's Donald Trump. Of course he should have an army, right? He's not even the president. He already has himself his own motherfucking army. And no one's doing anything about it. Nobody's trying to stop this militia. I don't think that, there's 500 people involved here. So let's say 250, let's say half of let's say 1/5 of the organization can actually make it to a Bernie Sanders rally, or they make it to a Trump rally together. 1/5 of this organization makes it to a Trump rally together. And some poor girl holding up a sign, silently protesting, or wearing clothes that says dump Trump, silently protesting, shows up. Are these this 1/5, these 100 people, are the police going to be able to stop them from doing what they promised they're going to do? I don't think so. I don't think that police are going to stop 1/5 of this organization if they rally together. So if Trump has this penis that he guarantees us is perfect and guarantees us is absolutely, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. He guarantees it. He guarantees it. He's really got this perfect penis. I wish that he would just stand up and tell everyone, please don't kill other people or hurt other people in my name. Because I don't need that. I am person enough. I am man enough. And a penis doesn't make you a man. I get that. Please don't misquote me. But if he could just stand up and say, I am person enough to know that I don't need an army of people out there bashing other people's heads in, that'd be great. That would prove to me that maybe there isn't something wrong with his penis. Casper?
No, I think in order for Donald to prove to me that there's something there, that there isn't something wrong with his penis, he's gonna have to show me his penis. He put it out there, and I'm asking him, okay, motherfucker, I don't even want to see it, but you put it out there, and I'm saying, put it out there. Like if I came on this show and I was like, ladies, my dick is awesome. I just want y'all to know that. Like somebody said my dick wasn't awesome. I need y'all to know my dick is fucking awesome. Like I would expect somebody to go, okay, man. Like, well, like I don't really want to see it, but like you said it was awesome, so like pull it out. Yeah, you're gonna have to pull it out. Like we're gonna have to see your dick. Like he's gonna have to show me his dick if he wants me to believe that there's nothing wrong with it, because I think it's fucking slanted way to the fucking right and fucking shorter than a toothpick. But to get back to the whole Hitler thing, it's I think maybe there is some validity to saying, okay, Trump's not Hitler yet. Like Trump is not Hitler yet. I can agree with that. At this point in time, Trump is not Hitler. But let's look at some of the things that brought Hitler to where he was, and let's compare that with Trump. Now, Hitler, in speech after speech, and this is why Trump has fucking studied Hitler, because I've studied Hitler. I used to be a member of the Aryan Nations, and like it was actually my duty to study Hitler and to understand Hitler. So I have a very, very good base of knowledge about Hitler. And let's understand that Hitler, at every single speech, his entire speech and everything that he was about was built on repeatedly making the Germans supposedly understand, but at least feel and agree to the idea that Jews had ruined Germany following World War I because they were given power over Germany, and they took over the banking system and they took over the economic system. And so Jews had ruined Germany following World War I. And what Hitler's whole fucking propaganda was about telling people this is the problem. Jews are the fucking problem. They have ruined our fucking nation, and they have done so because these Allied forces from World War I gave them power over us. And what we have to do as German people is stand up. Wir müssen die Juden anfraten. We have to remove the Jews immediately, because the Jews have taken our country, and we have to take our country back from the Jews. That was Hitler's fucking go-to line. That's what fucking rallied people. That was his rallying cry. Germany is in tatters. This nation has been torn apart, and it's the Jews' fault. The Jews did this. Now let's look at Trump. What is Trump's rallying cry? We have to build a wall against these illegal immigrants who are ruining our country. We have to make America great again. Put a fucking Hitler voice on Trump, and it's the same fucking speech. I've heard that speech. I've heard that speech at Aryan Nation rallies repeatedly, time and again. I've had it drilled into me when the whole white supremacist fucking the white man is great, but we have been downtrodden by all these lesser people. I had that drilled into me for years of my life. And when I hear Hitler's, when I hear Trump's, that's how bad it is. I think of him as Hitler because when I hear him speak, I've listened to Hitler's speeches over and over again. Literally, listened to every one of his speeches, read his books, listened to everything he had to say repeatedly. And at one point in my life, agreed with all of it because I felt I was superior. You're right. I'm not accomplishing what I can accomplish because someone else is holding me back. It's the Jew. It's the black man.
Or
It's
in this
the
case, it's
fucking
Muslim.
Mexican. That's it. It's the Muslim. It's the Mexican. These are the people holding me back from what I could achieve as a wonderful, vibrant white man. This is my world, and they have taken it from me. That's Hitler. That's Trump. It's the same fucking dichotomy. And if you want to say, okay, well, you know, Trump is different than Hitler. He's different right now, but his speeches, his language, the way that he works to incite people, there's no difference there. If I put a fucking Trump rally and Trump blasting these same ideas repeatedly into people's hell, build a wall, kill ISIS, bomb the fucking Muslims, let's brand people. It's the same rhetoric posed in a different form. It's the same bullshit. I left that bullshit for a reason. There is no justification for it. None. I'm white as fucking snow, and I can tell you right now that the color of my skin does not make me a better individual than anyone else. In fact, the color of my skin has made me a terrible, terrible fucking individual in my past. And when it becomes necessary for me to stand up and say, I've experienced that, I've been on that side, and you're wrong, I tell you from experience, I hope that there's some people that will listen because I do say it from experience. 10 years ago, 12 years ago, I would have been a Trump supporter. It hasn't been that long. Not for me. It hasn't been that long since I finally came to the understanding I couldn't justify it. And it's going to be a terrible thing when you've sat here justifying it for years on end and you put this man in office and you find yourself having to say, having to answer to the entire world for what you supported, for what you helped cause. And what are you going to do? I'm lucky I haven't killed myself, trying to deal with what I've done in my past because I've gone too far. I've pushed too much. I've agreed with too much. I've sanctioned and condoned too much. And I look back on myself and I go, fuck, how do I fix that? Like, if I'm not going to kill myself, what can I do to fix it? And the only answer I have is to fight against it. I'm here to fight. Like, there is an internal civil war going on in this nation right now, and Trump is on the wrong side of that battle. And I'm here to fight all the way as long as it takes. Um, I tell people I'm ready to leave this nation if Trump becomes president, and in one respect, I truly am. And in another respect, I say, you know what? Even if I have to go underground and fight this motherfucker, if he gets in here, I'll do that. There's a part of me that says I owe it to everything I was to erase that part of me to fight what this man is about. And I don't want more people to end up with that. Just let it go now and walk away from that. I don't care if you say, well, you know, compared to Trump, like Hillary's the best option. Whatever. Okay, fine, whatever. I don't agree at all. I wouldn't vote for Hillary if my life depended on it. But hey, better than Trump. Um, so I don't know. It's heart wrenching for me personally.
Yeah, it is. And I think that people don't understand. I think that people think that we're just being crybabies when we say if Trump becomes president, we want to leave. I don't want my tax dollars to go support building any wall. Okay. And I don't want my tax dollars to support branding any Muslim. And I don't want my tax dollars going to bomb any ISIS, wherever they may be. And that's why, you know, the only real option would be to leave the country. If you don't want your tax dollars spent for those purposes, you know, and I do get that tax dollars go towards paying schools. Tax dollars go towards keeping our roads paved and safe. But in Trump's America, if what we're going to be doing, if a penny of my money could possibly be used towards paying someone to build a wall, paying for a brick, paying for a single piece of a bomb, paying for anything of that sort at all, I don't want Trump to have my penny. I don't want him to have my penny. And that's why, you know, that's why people say this stuff. That's why people say I'm moving to Canada. I'm moving here. I'm moving there. I'm moving to Serbia, personally. So that's why these things are said, because we don't want any of our money possibly going towards this bullshit, this hatred, this bigotry, this racism. And that ties all the way back to why I believe the people of Chicago are my heroes right now. Every single person that went out there to protest the Trump rally, let me personally thank you. I am sorry that social media and social justice warriors are turning their backs on you. And I'm sorry that people feel that you don't have the right to express yourself the way you want to, using your free speech to do what you did. Personally, you're my hero. For you guys to stand up and say, we do not support this racist asshole. We do not support the shit that he spews out, the hatred. We do not support his Hitler-esque speech style. We don't support this person at all. And we don't want to hear the bullshit. We don't want the bullshit to spread here in my city. You're my heroes. I respect you. I love you. And I am very grateful that people like you still have the nerve to get out in public and stand up for something you believe in. Bravo. Good job. Peace out for me.
So, as much as it pains me, I have to close us up by speaking to an individual who, on many levels, I admire greatly. And that individual is Neil deGrasse Tyson. I love so many of the things that you've done in your life, so many of your achievements, so many of your works as a scientist, bringing back the Cosmos series. My kids have been invigorated by that. But when you stood up and said that the protesters that shut down the Trump rally in Chicago were wrong, I have to say you're a fucktard on that particular issue. I still love you, Neil. I really do. I still love you, and so much that you've done. But you have to understand that no one told Trump he couldn't have his fucking rally. Even the police said, okay, we've got this under control. You've already set up everything. You go ahead with your rally. Trump made the decision to end that because there was such an outcry, such a voice of protest in that town, that Trump did not feel like he could come there and do what even the police told him he was capable of doing. So Trump made that final call. Trump said, "No, no, there's too much there. Like, we can't go in there. We can't stop all the protesters from showing up to my rally, so I'm not going." Now, what this says about a man who wants to be the leader of this nation is that when it comes to matters of diplomacy and international diplomacy, he is ill-equipped to deal with that, because he's ill-equipped to even deal with marginal peaceful criticism. And that potential rally in Chicago that was shut down before the rally even began due to protests was shut down by peaceful protesters who came out against Trump as their First Amendment rights that cannot be infringed upon by the federal government, and they have a right to say, we don't want this man here. And the violence that ensued in that protest was because of Trump supporters who
Mhm.
caused violence at that protest. It is not because of the protesters. Trump supporters caused violence at that protest. Trump's people did that because peaceful protesters came out and said, we don't want this man here. And they have every right to come out and say they don't want that man here. And when the police said, you know what, we've got this under control, you can do whatever you need to do, Mr. Trump. And Trump says, no, we're not going to do it. That's on Trump. That's not on those protesters. The violence that happened at that protest is not on those protesters. It's on the people who committed violent acts against those protesters. So I have to disagree with you, Neil, and I have to disagree with any regressive leftists that want to fucking argue the point that his First Amendment rights were violated. They weren't. The federal government never, in any way, shape, or form, said you can't do this. So he had every right to speak and to have an open forum under the law as the First Amendment provides. And he refused to do it. That's on him. It's not on the protesters. It's not on anybody else. That is on Donald fucking Trump. That's on that fucking Oompa Loompa. And it'll continue to be on them. And I support the protesters for coming out and saying, we don't want that there. They didn't stop him from doing it. They just said, it is our right to say we don't want that here, and we're going to say it. He made the decision not to do it. That's on him. So, if you're heading to the polls this year, which you fucking well should be, god damn it. If there's one thing I support, it's the idea that voting should be obligatory. You should have to fucking vote. Um, like that, it's your fucking duty as a citizen of this nation. Get out and fucking vote. And just, I don't care what you think is right. Like, pick what you think is right and vote. Do your fucking part. Whether I agree with you or not, get out there and fucking do it. I don't support anyone stopping you from doing that in any way, shape, or form. You should have the right to fucking vote. care if you just moved fucking 2 days ago and you're not registered in that area. Fuck that. You should be able to vote. Fucking vote. In fact, you should be enforced to vote. If you don't vote, you should be fucking fined because you're not engaging in what it should be an actual fucking democratic process. You're the reason that this country is run by an oligarchy. You're the one failing because you didn't show up. I myself am not allowed to vote. I'm a convicted felon, and because of my felony conviction, I am not allowed to vote in this fucking state. That's a shitty fucking reality for me. But you best bet my wife will be at the voting fucking booths. She was at the primaries to vote for Bernie, and she will be back at the fucking general elections to write fucking Bernie in, even if he doesn't get the goddamn nomination, because she has fucking integrity and she actually believes and stands by her position. And I would do the same if I was legally able to do so. So if Trump becomes president, it's your own fucking fault because you didn't get up off your goddamn couch because you were too busy watching this stupid ass show where we get drunk and act like asses. And you missed your fucking chance to actually make a difference. So get the fuck out, get up off your couch, put the video game down for a minute, put the videos aside, put the fucking cat videos aside, go fucking vote. Make a difference. In your primaries, in the general election, go fucking make a difference. And let's make sure that fucking Hitler, I mean Trump, no, never mind. I meant little Hitler, doesn't get fucking elected as president in this country. Because if you elect him, you did that to yourself. If you allow that to happen, you did it to your fucking self. And I'm not gonna fucking feel any sympathy for you whatsoever. As always, the viewpoints expressed here by myself and Miss Allie are not necessarily the viewpoints of all members of Atheist Republic. We are a large organization of over 300 members and growing exponentially every single day. So if you are pissed off about any of the bullshit that we have spouted off here, please let us know. Direct that at Allie or myself. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook. My Twitter handles at God Doesn't Matter. Allie is at Atheist Allie on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. Both of our profiles are public because we're not chicken shits, regardless of the many death threats we receive on a regular basis. But if you're pissed off about what we say, hey, let us know. It's not about Atheist Republic. We're just doing our thing here, and they don't necessarily support what we do. They just say, hey, we don't want to fucking silence you, so you can say it. If you'd like to support Atheist Republic, if you like what we're saying here, if you like what Atheist Republic does, please visit atheistrepublic.com. And you can support us monetarily. You can support the organization by becoming a writer, an editor, a news writer, a journalist of some sort. We have all sorts of positions available, and we always need more people to volunteer and help. So get involved, do your part, be involved in this whole situation. I'm going to let Allie close it up with a final thought.
I support Casper. I believe that if everyone here who's watching the show gets out and votes, that's your duty. It's absolutely what you need to be doing right now. It's absolutely what we need from you right now. Get out and vote. If you ask me who I want you to vote for, it's Bernie Sanders, but that's not what it's about. So yeah, just get out there and vote. I don't care who you're voting for. It's ridiculous to see 50% of the Democratic Party not voting. So please get out there and vote. And that's what I wanted to end it with as well.
This has been another episode of The Devils in God's Country. 21 episodes we've done so far. It's been amazing. It's been a fun ride, and we will continue to do it. We'll be here at the same place, same time next Monday, and we'll be talking about some other topic, or maybe we'll continue fucking ranting about politics because, you know, it's an election season and shit's gotten fucking weird in this country. So we will see you again next Monday. Peace out.